Hi there, welcome to another episode of That Movie Show. I hope that you've enjoyed the content that I've been putting out so far. I'm going to be putting out a lot more content in the coming weeks. I'm still working on the Michael Bay episode, which should be out shortly. But in the meantime, here's this review. Don't forget to like and share all of my content, then more people can see it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you do enjoy the video. If not, then give me a thumbs down and tell me to go fuck myself. Baby Driver. Now this is a film that was an uphill battle for me because I hate car chases in films. I have yet to see a car chase that I'm thrilled by. Even films like The Italian Job or a lot of people cite Death Proof as great car chase scenes. I just hate them. I don't like them. I don't find them interesting. I don't find them intriguing. They're not exciting and there's no suspense for me. I don't know what it is about them, but I don't like them. So Baby Driver was a very hard sell for someone like me. I'm pleased to say that Edgar Wright did a magnificent job, and this is a great film. So let's get straight into the review. I'm giving the visuals a 9 for this because I honestly can't praise the stunt driving and choreography enough for this film. It is so well shot and choreographed that every single car chase scene was amazing. Now you just heard me say how much I hate car chase scenes, and for me to say that I loved every car chase scene in this film says something about how good those car chases are. I think as well as the choreography being so well, the scenes were edited brilliantly. There was none of this fast choppy editing that we see in Michael Bay movies or the Fast and the Furious movies, so that you can't really see the stunts that are happening. Edgar Wright gives you plenty of time to take in those stunts, even though it is edited quite fast anyway. And I think that's something that was a very hard thing to do for a film like this, so all credit to him. 9 out of 10 for this section. For the audio, many of the tracks in this film I didn't really like. They weren't to my particular taste. But one thing I can say about the tracks that were used in this film is they were very, very carefully selected by Edgar Wright. And I think there was a good purpose behind it because the tracks all reflect the scene that they're played with incredibly well. And they match the tempo and the beat and the feeling of each scene. So even though I don't particularly like them most of the time, I do think they fit in with the film really well. Aside from the driving scenes, the rest of the soundtrack was kind of a cool, stylish retro soundtrack to the extent that it was, a lot of the music was selected from an older period of time rather than going to the stereotypical 80s, which most films do these days, to get a retro soundtrack and use an 80s soundtrack. This one seemed to focus more on earlier hits, and I thought that was a great decision by Edgar Wright because it did give it a very cool, stylish feel throughout the rest of the film. So the audio gets a 7.5. Performances is another section that does really well for this film. I think that every character was excellent in it. One thing I did think at the time when I first watched it was that Kevin Spacey is excellent in this role, and now in this post-Spacey demon world that we live in, perhaps it puts that role into another context for me because he basically plays a bully who bullies everyone around him. And I think that's interesting because he plays it so well, and now I wonder if maybe he played that role so well because he was just being himself and he actually really reveled in it. But I guess that's a topic for another video. Aside from Spacey, everybody else is excellent. I really enjoyed Jon Hamm's performance. I hadn't seen him in anything since Mad Men, another thing which I really enjoyed him in, so it was nice to see him play a different role. He didn't turn up as Don Draper, which I thought was great. He was a totally different role, he made it his own, and he was really charismatic despite being a bit of a dick. But I think the highest praise has to go to the two main leads. In particular, I'm going to have to look at his name. Ansel Elgort was amazing in his role. He did such a good job playing this sort of quietly confident and charismatic role that it's very easy to see why Disney originally looked at him to play Han Solo in the new Han Solo movies, because he does kind of carry off that Han Solo vibe really well. I wonder if they're regretting the decision now to not go with Ansel Elgort. The chemistry between him and Lily James is excellent as well. I really buy into their relationship, even though it's quite unrealistic in a lot of respects and would look more at home in Dawson's Creek than in a film. But they sell the relationship really, really well between them, and it's clear that they have very good chemistry. And I think that was an important thing for this film because some of the aspects of it are a bit surrealistic, so I really needed them to give in good charismatic performances to sell those surrealistic aspects of the film. I give the performances an 8 out of 10, and that brings me on to the writing for this film.
Slow? No. Good kid. Devil behind the wheel. Was he slow?
Unfortunately, I have to beat up on Edgar Wright again on the writing, like I did with Scott Pilgrim. I think the writing is a bit weak in places. The plot is very basic. There's supposed twists in the plot, but you'll see them coming a mile away. And in addition to that, some aspects of the plot are a very hard sell because they're super surrealistic. And for me, they didn't really work. So it's not unenjoyable. I still enjoyed the ride that the film takes you on, but for me, the writing could have been stronger. There were a few decisions they could have taken to strengthen the writing a little bit and perhaps not go quite as silly as they did. Bearing that in mind, I do think it was a great decision from Edgar Wright to end the film the way that he did. I think giving the character that type of ending was exactly what the film needed to give it a bit more reality, and also to provide the character with a proper journey. Instead of him riding off into the sunset like all the Hollywood movies, they actually gave him an ending where he had to learn a lesson, and I think that was a very good decision by Edgar Wright. Overall, I'm giving this 77%. It's a hugely enjoyable film, which if you can suspend your disbelief for long enough to watch it, I have no doubts you will enjoy. That's all I have time for on this episode. I hope that this review has been useful for you and that it helps make some good decisions about what you should watch and what you shouldn't. Don't forget, hit subscribe if you've enjoyed the video, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up too. I'll see you all on the next episode.